That life is always going to give you the unexpected. Especially busy women, moms, entrepreneurs, all of us who are doing multiple things have a tendency to put more and more on our plate so we don't have to feel. So by the time you realize, you know, your skin is breaking out, your hair is falling out, you have been stressed maybe for years.
I can't figure out why my heart is racing or why I have chest pains or why, I don't know, I was just anxious. And I don't know where my brain was at, but my hair was gone. Have you noticed that your hair is shedding way more during stressful times? You may not know it, but your hair shedding and stress is more connected than you may think. And we're going to dive deep into that today. But before we get started, I am Mo, the founder of Ghostly Care Company. As you may or may not know, I have over almost 20 years of experience and I've done over 30,000 services. I have seen it all. But when it comes to stress, I actually have someone here today that's going to give us a little bit more, insight on how to manage your stress so your stress does not manage you and take your hair right along with it. So we have Mikki Bey. She is not only, she is my life coach. Look, and probably everybody else's, and she has really helped me out. But she is going to dive deep into helping us learn to manage our stress. So she's actually an emotional regulation coach. And she's amazing, y'all. She's amazing at what she does. But I'm going to let her go ahead and tell you a little bit about herself.
Thank you so much, Mo. Yes, I am Mo's life coach, but many of you may not know that I actually was in the beauty industry for over 10 years. So I owned a salon in LA. I was on Shark Tank with that salon in 2015. I'm a licensed esthetician and I was a celebrity makeup artist for many years. So I know a little something about stress in the beauty industry and also, you know, helping my clients manage stress through being entrepreneurs. A lot of my clients are moms and amazing business owners like yourself. And I know a little something about that as well, building a business with motherhood, with marriage, with divorce even. So I think today is going to be a good conversation.
Oh, yeah, y'all. I can't wait. And look, I'm going to tell y'all a little bit of my business, too, because I get stressed out and my hair falls out, too. So I know what it's like.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and get right to it. Let me get my questions together. So many women juggle multiple roles, like you said, motherhood, partnerships, professional responsibilities. But what are like some common challenges that you see that women are facing, and like striving for this balance, trying to balance all of that?
That's a really good question. I think the few things that I see over and over again are perfectionism. Like they want to do everything perfectly. They have all these plates spinning in the air, but every title they hold, they have to be the absolute best at it. So I definitely see people holding themselves to a unrealistic expectation. So that's a huge one. And then the other thing is, I think, people pleasing, wanting to do, like I said, wanting to be perfect in all of those different areas. And it takes a toll on you when you are trying to just say yes and put more and more on your plate and you're already stressed out, you're already overwhelmed. It's just going to be even harder to keep up those commitments you've already said yes to. And I think the last thing is managing motherhood and business. So I coach mainly moms who are entrepreneurs and they are stressed out because of trying to make revenue, trying to make payroll, trying to do all these things in their business. And then they come home and they have all these responsibilities of being a mom. So it really is, it doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur or if you're in the corporate world, you still have these two different worlds where everything is colliding and coming together on you. So it's really about figuring out how you can create a routine for yourself to be able to manage, put a foundation under everything that you are doing daily.
So what I summed up right there is we be trying to balance it all. Do you think it's a such thing as balance when it comes to all of that?
Yes, I do think there is a such thing as balance, but I think it's not what we have been taught it is. I think that you can absolutely have it all, but you have to compartmentalize some things. Everything doesn't need to be in your daily life. So for me, one of the things that I do that's a part of my routine at night is I decide what are my 3 priorities for the next day. And those are going to ladder back up to my values and my goals.
Yep.
So for instance, I might have a motherhood goal to spend some time with my son uninterrupted without my phone, without him using any devices. I might have a revenue goal to bring in a new client. And I might have a personal goal, like to work out or do something for myself. So I only focus on those 3 things per day. So it allows me to look at my life holistically, as far as what my priorities are, what has to be done the next day, but then also not putting too many things on the list that I feel overwhelmed. So yes, we can't have it all, but we have to definitely piece it out.
Right. That was one thing I had to learn, and you taught me that, right? Just seeing what the priorities were, and I feel like ever since I started doing that, like you said, I, for me, I'm gonna pour into me first. That's a must, you know, my spiritual time and working out and stuff. Then I'm gonna put a little bit of work in there, and then after 4 o'clock, it's time for the kids, right?
Yeah,
You cut
exactly.
it off. So I think, like you said, putting a routine in place is very helpful. But then sometimes I used to say too, I don't think there's a such thing as balance, right? I feel like there will be certain seasons where work may get a little bit more of your time. Your kids may need a little bit more of your time. I don't know, maybe family may need a little bit more of your time or whatnot. So I think we have to be mindful of that, to just say there is no such thing as balance.
Well, I'm going to challenge you on that. I
Okay.
think that your definition of balance is equality in that, and I'm not saying equality, I'm talking equity. So what you're saying is, okay, you have to give your attention more over here and that takes away from something.
Right.
I'm saying maybe my son is at a place where I can actually give less time to him because he has another parent who can do 100%. And so I might be at a 70%, but I'm putting that other 30% somewhere where it's going to be astronomically, the ROI that comes back is going to allow me to have more time with him. So it's really about not am I doing 100% in everything at the same time, but if I'm taking my attention away from here, what is going to be the outcome of me doing that? Because me not giving my son 100% of my attention on a day-to-day basis is going to add up. But what if I'm able to give him 100% of my time for 2 days a week, right? That's probably more than most people are actually spending like with their kids. So I think it's really important for us to not make the balance have to be 50-50 equal, right? It's more so about how much like equitable time am I giving to each thing.
Right. Okay. So you know what? This takes me to another thought, right? So I've talked to a lot of women, right? When it comes to their hair. And I automatically assume that a lot of people experience this hair loss because of a person or a product or something that they did, right? But the more I talk to them, a lot of them are losing their hair because of stress, right? And so even though I guess the scenario that you explained is kind of like the perfect world. But what about when unexpected things happen, right? People may be stressed out for money reasons. Maybe a parent got sick. Maybe your children are sick. Um, it's like, how do you balance life when unexpected things like that come up that's stressing you out?
I think it's important to know that life is always going to give you the unexpected, right? But with emotional regulation, the whole point of learning to regulate your emotions is because the one thing we know for sure is that life is going life,
It's gonna do
right?
that, yeah.
And so when we have those calm moments, that's actually the time to practice. So when you have those small things that happen in a day that could have you going off,
Right.
using your breath to bring you back and just saying, you know what? I have a saying called NBD, no big deal.
Okay.
So I'll take a breath and I'll just say, no big deal. Like, this isn't worth my time and attention. Now, sometimes in life, there are things that are worth your time and attention, right? So, for instance, for me, I went through a 3-year period where my son had a very rare disease that I had to give my full attention to the point where I was still in corporate at that time. I had to quit my job because my son needed my entire 100% dedication. I was very stressed at that time. He had a very rare eating disorder called RFID, which is basically like the pickiest of picky eaters. So he was not eating food, and this was from 0 to 3. And so trying to find specialists, trying to find someone who could help him, trying to find someone who would listen to me that this was an issue, right? And so I was very stressed out at that time. And I think one of the things that helped me that I have been doing for years, even before I knew this was an emotional regulation technique, is journaling. And journaling is my favorite emotional regulation technique, hands down, because you can tell your journal anything. Like anything. I could cuss, I could fuss, I could be upset at the doctors or whoever is not paying me attention. And 9 times out of 10, what I found with journaling is that just the act of letting it all out is helpful to bring me back to a neutral place. So the idea with emotional regulation is not that you feel great every day. It's that you learn to actually accept the range of emotions that you are feeling. A lot of women can't even pinpoint when they are stressed. So just because you're not having a dysregulation symptom like your hair falling out, because obviously if your hair falls out, now you're paying attention. Like, oh, okay, something's going on. But before that hair started falling out, there were signs. And we are women, especially busy women, moms, entrepreneurs, all of us who are doing multiple things, have a tendency to put more and more on our plate so we don't have to feel. So by the time you realize, you know, your skin is breaking out, your hair is falling out, you have been stressed maybe for years, which means your central nervous system is overloaded and you're constantly in fight or flight, which is causing the autoimmune diseases.
You know what? I think we've almost conditioned ourselves to feel like, oh, this is normal. I'm not stressed. I know I told myself for years, like just going through things like, oh, I'm not stressed. Like, oh, I'm relaxed. And then all of a sudden I can't figure out why my heart is racing or why I have chest pains or why, I don't know, I was just anxious, right? And that was just a accumulation of stress over the years that you can start to feel the stress. Like stress will kill you. But you said another thing, right? So we may feel like we aren't stressed and we make ourselves busy. Y'all know we can do that. And we're so busy to the point that we are not even eating. So I talked about this before where I was stressed. I was still getting up, going to work, you know, doing everything I was doing, but not eating. And I realized that is why my hair was coming out, not putting the right nutrients back in my body, not eating any protein. And I don't know where my brain was at, but my hair was gone, like absolutely gone. So I guess when we are stressed, we have to be mindful of, you still have to take care of you. You still need to eat, put the right things in your body. So that was something that I noticed.
Well, I had the opposite problem. So when I was stressed, I would eat a lot. And so, well, you know this, but I've just lost almost 100 pounds over the last 3 years. Thank you, girl.
Yes, girl.
But the way that I lost the weight was really pinpointing when I am triggered. Because for me, I knew if I was going through a hard time or I was really stressed out, I was going to be in the Popeyes drive-thru. So when I
you
started
was eating anything.
Oh yeah, I was eating something very specific. Like I said, once I started to notice, the only time I go to Popeyes, I don't be thinking about Popeyes when I'm happy.
Popeyes be good.
Popeyes do be good, but you know, I wouldn't even think about going if I wasn't stressed or something wasn't happening for me. But I wanted that salty, that crunchy, that comfort food, right? Which even that is a misnomer because it's not really comfort food. It's poisoning us. So when I started to realize, okay, I have the urge to go to Popeyes. This means I am triggered. What is it that I am feeling? What is it I'm trying to avoid feeling? Because that's why I want to put the chicken on top of it. And so when I realized that that's what I was doing, it was a game changer for me because no one really ever told me that like, oh, I'm eating my emotions.
Wow.
And I think a lot of us do that in a lot of different ways. You know, with weight, you happen to be able to see what my problem is, right? Like I'm 100 pounds overweight. You can see that there's some imbalance going on, right?
Right.
But you're not better than me because you might not eat or you might overspend.
Or drink.
Or end up in somebody's bed you ain't supposed to be in. You know, I mean, a whole lot of things, right? So The point is, adults are learning to self-soothe usually in a way that is not healthy. And what we want to do is find ways to soothe ourselves that are healthy. So like I said, the breathing, journaling, exercise. I know you are really big
Yes.
on moving your body. Ultimately, stress is energy that needs someplace to go. And so if you don't give it a place to go, your body is so smart. It is going to keep sending you physical signs and symptoms until you say, oh, something's not going right. My heart hurts.
Yep.
Right? My hair is falling out.
Yep.
Right? Until you get the memo, because your emotions are always going to be accompanied by a physiological sensation as well. Happiness, sadness, all of those have something going on in your body to let you know what the emotion is.
That's a good way to look at it, y'all. She said a mouthful, right? And look, that was a good point you brought up, where we all stress impacts us differently.
Yeah.
How you, like you said, you started to eat. So yeah, I get that. Okay, so could you share like more tips on, like you said, you mentioned journaling, but like, are there any other things that you would suggest when it comes to regulating our emotions and stress?
Yes. So pause, breathe, choose. I would count that as one,
What you
right?
mean? What's
So
that?
you're going to pause when you notice that there's a strong emotion coming up. You're going to pause. That's the first thing you do. So there's so much power in the pause because that gives your brain a chance to say, uh-oh, like something's happening, right?
Right, I
So
feel something.
instead of just being reactive to what's happening in front of you, the pause lets you know, like, okay, I need to do something else after this, which is going to be breathe. You're going to take a breath. That's going to reset your nervous system. And then you're going to choose how or if you are going to respond. So notice I said if you are going to respond.
Okay.
So sometimes no response is needed. And so it might just mean get yourself to safety. It might mean this environment is no longer safe for me. And so I'm going to say have a good night to everybody and I'm going to roll out.
But
right?
what if there's nobody else around? I've been in my car and just will be having a thought about what maybe somebody or something somebody did to me and find myself getting emotionally unregulated.
Yeah, because you bothering yourself with a memory of something in the past. Yes, yes, ma'am. That's perfect. So the same still applies. You're going to pause. You're going to recognize what you're doing, right? Take a breath. You're going to ask yourself some questions. Well, why am I bothering myself with this? What is it about this? It's not the person that you're thinking about. It's something going on inside of Mo, right? So asking yourself, well, what is it that I'm feeling that is causing me to have a dysregulated emotion right now? And then there's another question you can ask, which is, what would I rather? What would I rather in this moment? What do I need? That's a question I'm asking myself 24 hours a day, literally.
Right.
What do I need right now? Do I need a nap? I know you love coffee. Do you need some coffee?
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
Do I need to go and be with a friend and go do some volunteer work? What is it that I need to do? So one of my main tools is to have a list ready to go for yourself. And some of these things can be paid, some of these things can be free, some of these things can be stuff you do in your house. So for me, I'm a nail girly. I love to get my nails done, but I usually get my nails done when I need a break.
Yep.
Because I don't talk when I'm getting my nails done. So I'm literally just I'm just sitting there allowing the environment to soothe me. And it is a really soothing experience for me because a lot of the motions they're doing are the same motion.
Right.
Right. So I can focus on the motion, I can focus on my breath, and it helps bring me back. Another thing I do, I love a bath. But I generally only take a bath
If you're stressed out.
when I don't even think to take a bath if I'm not, right? But I make it a whole experience. So I'll go and I'll get the candles that I want and I'll make put some music on or something like that. I fill the tub all the way up
Right.
with bubbles and all of that. So I would say have a list of go-to things that you know help you to feel better. So the goal here is not to help you move out of the feeling, is to soothe yourself into just the next best feeling emotion. Sometimes things are going to take days or even, weeks to get over, to move through if you're actually processing through it. So I think just having a list of things that make you feel your best, ready to go, so you can just choose something off the list.
I know, right? And I had to talk to myself this morning. I felt myself getting mad about a thought. Look, something that ain't even happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, Monique? You need to be thinking about something else. It's a beautiful day right now. Like, why are you thinking about something that's gonna stress you out?
I like how you use third person there because that's exactly what it is. So you said Monique, right?
I talk to myself all the time.
But listen, but that's a good separation because you are actually not the person we know as Monique. You are the person who knows your thinking, which is different. So I love that you said, "Hey, Monique, you doing a crazy thing right now, right?"
Yes.
Because you can call out your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. So if you can just remember, I can have the crazy thought and still not take it personally because the thought is actually not me.
Yes, that's what I be saying. That ain't me. That ain't nobody but the devil. That was not me.
The thought is not me, right?
Okay.
So understanding that you can think whatever. I have a million and one crazy thoughts in a day, but I don't take my thoughts personally. And I know that I can redirect what I would like to be thinking. What would I rather be thinking? What would make me feel better to think about? Right? Because we all have that person that lives in our head that's a pest, right? And who is a nuisance with all of the doom and gloom of what today holds. It's called our ego.
But what if it's not a person that's stressing you out? What if you're thinking, oh my God, I need more money? Or, oh my God, I don't like how I look. Like, I don't know. It could be so many other things that can cause stress, right? That does not have to do with another person. So, like, how do we get beyond that?
Okay. So there is a belief system that's supporting the thought that you're having. So if I am thinking I don't have enough money, then what are the beliefs that are creating that thought? Maybe I'm thinking I'm working so hard and I'm not getting the reward, or
My light bill say past due. What you mean? This a no, just said
well,
a scenario
I'm telling
like
you how
that.
you get there. I'm telling you how you get there.
Okay.
You're not going to be able to get there from there. If you're just
Okay.
going to look at the light bill and say, I don't have the money for the light bill, you're going to perpetually not have money for the light bill. What you are actually asking for with more money is not actually the money, it's the feeling of safety and security. So if you learn how to get yourself to a feeling of safety and security, money will naturally start coming to you because you are now at a vibrational resonance with more money coming to you. If you're going to stay on the subject of lack, you're going to get more lack in your life. It's just, look, take it up with the universe. That's how it works, you know? But you are in control of what you are thinking. And if you are going to spend the majority of your time thinking about things that are not pleasant and or beneficial for you, your life is going to reflect that. So the easiest way to change any condition in your life is to get a better outlook on it. You can be grateful for something in your life right now. Your lights are still on as we speak.
I know.
Right? So they have not been cut off. That's something to be grateful for. So
Let
gratitude.
me say real quick, I didn't mean that literally, because they'll be like, girl, she said she can't pay her light bill. That
we
was
know
a
you. We
scenario.
know Monique can pay her bills. Okay, but seriously,
I've been there before though.
Yeah,
So I say that
absolutely.
because I've been there before. I've been stressed out because I felt like I was not making enough money.
Yep.
And you're constantly trying to figure out ways on,
Well, let's talk about the money thing because I think a lot of people can relate to that, right? So as long as you are in a scarcity mindset, it's not going to matter how much money you have. So do we think that there are millionaires and multimillionaires who still worry about money? What do you think?
Absolutely. They want more of it.
Okay. Maybe it's not even that they want money. More of it, they're afraid they're going to lose what they have.
Oh, yeah,
That's a
that's
scarcity
true.
mindset,
Yeah.
right? So the idea is that if you want, let me talk to the people. If you want to have money in your life and you want the experience of living a luxurious lifestyle or whatever that money would mean to you, you are going to have to find a way to make yourself feel like that now before the money arrives. And listen, I have made and lost a lot of money. And I'm very open about that. I think it's really important. And I'm so grateful that this time around, I have been blessed with getting rid of the scarcity mindset that was not just for me, but was for 4 generations back in my maternal line. And we have to understand that most of the beliefs you have were not even your own. They came from somewhere. They came from your family. They came from society. They came from religion. They came from somewhere. And so you have to now, as an adult, decide, what do I believe? Because your life is going to reflect your belief system.
Okay. But look, I'm like, we all believe. Well, no.
We all believe what?
I take that back. I ain't gonna say
Because I was about,
I'm
to lay into you.
I know. I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say that. Because everybody does not always think positive about everything. So I guess I won't say we all.
But it's not about thinking positive. It's actually about the feeling you have inside. right? So if I could be, let's just say it, there are people who we would all consider to be heinous individuals who get what they want.
Heinous.
Uh-huh.
What that mean?
Terrible people. Terrible
Oh.
people, mean people, people who may hold very high offices and things. Yeah, who get what they want. And so it's not a matter of the thought you're having. Thoughts are only important if you believe the thought. If you believe the thought, that is what is going to bring that reality into your life. So if you think about someone who none of us would, agree is a good person, it's not about them being a good person. It's about them finding resonance with the thing that they want. And usually people who do not have a moral compass can do that a little bit easier because they don't have this thing in them that tells them they can't have it.
And they don't believe that what they're doing is wrong. They believe that they have to do it for whatever reason.
And they believe that they deserve it. They believe there's an entitlement there.
So that's why they get it and they get away with it?
Yes, because again, it's about what you are equal to. If I am, let's say, a narcissistic person, right? Which, in popular culture, people are always talking about narcissistic behavior. Well, a narcissist is typically going to get what they want because they are thinking about what serves them. They're thinking about what is going to make me happy. How can I have more money? How can I have more power? And that is their focus. They are never thinking to themselves, oh, I'm not good enough to have. They're thinking whoever needs to serve me and be here for me is going to help me further my cause. Now, I'm absolutely not saying be a narcissist. I'm absolutely not saying that. But what I am saying is that the best thing that you can do to change your life emotionally, right? And getting yourself into the type of life that you would really love to live and dream about living is find the emotion that matches that state of being that person lives in. Right? So if I was to take you, for example, if I'm just looking from the outside in, I would say if I wanted to be a beauty mogul, right, like Monique, what do I think the predominant feeling she has when she walks into her salon or when she walks into her warehouse? And I find that feeling in my life and I keep hitting it daily. Eventually, my life is going to change to start reflecting that.
Girl, you going deep today. She's going deep, y'all.
But look, it starts at your emotional level.
Right. No,
really
you're right.
does.
You're right. Because I have seen, and I'm not going to say I've been that person to where you cannot get out of the past. So you just have all these negative thoughts. And I guess that's why the stress stays around for so long, because you cannot, I don't know, I guess have a vision for a better future. But like you said, life will happen, but it won't always be this way.
Yeah, and that's a great affirmation, right? One of the affirmations I always use is everything is working out for me. And I use that because, again, if I'm going to just look at the reality of life in any given day, there may be lots of things I don't like about it.
Right.
But everything is moving through. There's always going to be something new coming up. Some things will be desirable. Some things may not be as desirable. But if I hold to myself that everything is working out for me, I don't need to know how it's working, but I believe that it is. That's going to serve me a lot better than just thinking I'm never going to get out of this financial situation or this bad relationship that I'm in.
Got it. That makes sense.
So stress needs a place to go, as I mentioned before. Move your body. Get out the house. Like, go for a walk or go for a run. Or if you can't get out the house, you can do jumping jacks in your house. You can run in place. But moving that energy in your body is really important. And I think too, telling yourself that you can feel better, right? That you can let go of the stress and you can find relaxation. The biggest tip too is rest. A lot of us are just running ourselves in the ground and we're not sleeping properly. So take a nap. Sometimes if you're really stressed, all you need is just a reset. Just like go to sleep, allow your brain to rest, because a lot of us are in that rumination where you're just thinking about things over and over again. A nap will do wonders for you. So making sure that we're getting good sleep exercise, eating properly, as you mentioned, journaling, creating that list that I talked about so that you have some go-to self-soothing things that are healthy that you can just do right in your house.
So, okay. So all of these tips, right? I feel like one thing is missing.
What's missing?
The spiritual, like God, like, and I guess everybody believes in something different, right? But for me, I believe in God. I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong. Like I said, she has helped me a lot, right? But however, God is still my source, and I always still go to Him, in prayer when I'm stressed out about something. So, how does that relate to, like, I guess, the tips that you're giving when it in the spiritual side of things?
Well, you know good and well that's how I roll too, right? I mean, I think that prayer isn't just for when you are in trouble, right? Or
You're
when
right.
when you want something to go your way. I actually pray very differently now at this stage in my spiritual life than I did previously. Like, say for instance, I'm having money troubles now. I'm not going to go to God and be like, God, please send me $5,000 because I got to pay such and such and such and such.
Right.
I'm going to go to God and I'm going to say, God, thank you for the abundance that's already in my life. Thank you for providing me with everything that I need. Thank you for making sure that money is always flowing to me and through me, that I am able to be a gift to someone who needs what I have. And in return, law of compensation says I will be generously compensated for that. So it's a whole different energy. I'm not going to go to God and lack. God has already given us absolutely everything. He says you are abundant, right? And that if I'm abundant because I am God, why would I go to the source in lack? I'm going to go in the posture that He wants me to come in, which is knowing I have everything already. Everything that I need, I do actually have, or else it would be here right now. If you needed it, it would be here. So understand that a lot of the things that we're putting on a pedestal is the very reason you don't have it. So if you're putting money above,
God,
if you
you're
put
right.
okay, you put that relationship,
Yeah.
if you put in the business,
Yeah.
if you put in anything,
Yeah.
right, above your consistent relationship with God. I say this all the time to my friends. I'm like, look, don't talk to me more than you talking to God.
That's
Because
real.
I'm not going to talk to you more than I talk to God. I'm talking to God all day long. So one of the things that I do for myself, and this is going to be different for everyone, but I walk around my dining room table and my kitchen. They're kind of like in a big oval, and I talk out loud.
Oh yeah.
And I do it until I feel better. So I'm literally talking to God, excuse me, talking to God, telling God everything that's on my mind.
Yep.
But I'm going in the posture of, I know this is already taken care of.
Right.
I know that this doesn't even require my worry. My worrying is getting in the way of what you already planted for me. So I'm talking to you to get that energy to plug in. It's like plugging into a socket, right? God is waiting for us to plug in every time.
Yep.
And it's right there. But most of us, again, you putting so much stuff on top of your intuition, your spiritual connection. We the best Wi-Fi there is.
And you know what? It's something that you really taught me, and I tell everybody this, right? If it didn't click until maybe 6 months afterwards, but look, God probably had already been telling me the whole time, but He used you as a vessel and the resource to really get the message to me. But the whole become the person,
Yes.
do the work, and then get the rewards. And like you just said, we'll go to God and we're like, I need the rewards. I need this. I need that. And God the whole time is like, well, you ain't going to get it until you become this person. I'm going to give you, tell you who you need to become.
Yeah.
You start doing the works to become that person, and then I'll give you the rewards. So I'm at the point now where I don't even think about the rewards or, like you said, what I need or what I lack. I show gratitude for what I already have. And I'm
Yes.
constantly just trying to become a better person. And I know everything else will fall in line. As they say, the money will chase you.
Yes.
Just become the person.
Yes.
Like that, the good life will chase you. Everything will come to you when you become the person.
But when you are dissatisfied in what you currently have, it is almost inevitable that it's not coming anytime soon. And that's kind of the point with become the person who has this life. Well, think about it. If you really had millions in the bank, what would your predominant thoughts be? They would not be of lack. You wouldn't even be thinking about money. The richest people I know are not thinking about money. I have a client who is probably close to a billionaire. And I asked her one time, I said, what does having that much money feel like? She said, it doesn't feel like anything. She said, because I'm so used to having it, it's no thrill anymore. She said, the thrill that I get is from helping other people who I know cannot help themselves, and I have the resources to do that. So, really, thinking about money all day is not what you would be doing as a millionaire or a multimillionaire.
You're right. That makes sense. And then too, I just think about, I guess when you get money, even if I'm thinking of other things that can stress you out, even when you have it all. And the only other thing I can think about is, I don't know, family. What
It's
do you mean?
fulfillment. So, I mean, if you look at a lot of times what celebrities will say is that I have it all. I've gotten it all. Everything I ever dreamed of, I got it, and I still feel empty. That's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible because you want the thing money can't buy, right? And that is your connection. That is your self-worth. That is your worthiness, just yourself, like feeling worthy and deserving. A lot of times people get exactly what they ask for and they don't feel they deserve it. They don't feel worthy of it. And so ultimately, you cannot use external things to fill a void internally. You're going to still have to go get the lesson. And the lesson is you're going to have to learn how to feel good with or without it, which is why you see a lot of people get all the way up to crash all the way back down because they really don't have the energetic container to even hold all of the blessings that have come because they haven't done any inner work.
That makes sense. Then it's like, well, how did you even get those blessings if you didn't do the inner work? But
Because I told you it's about resonance, right? They might have been able to find resonance through what, let's say you're in the music industry or something and you're passionate about music. That's a very high vibration. Being passionate about something is a very, very high vibration. So yes, that can still come in and bring you a lot of money. But what happens is when it gets here, you can't hold on to it. You can't hold on to it. You end up having huge tax issues or something that takes it away out of your experience because there's something on the inside of you in your nervous system, right? Because this is all nervous system work. In your nervous system that either does not feel worthy of it, that feels like, you did something to somebody maybe to get it. There's some type of negative programming that exists in there for you to not be able to hold on to that. And I hear that a lot because I work with very, people who have money, like who have really everything that they would want. But it's about fulfillment and sometimes impact. Like I'm not impacting people in the way I'd like to.
well, that's what ultimately that is what life is about: having a purpose, and giving back. Like your purpose should always involve other people. And as I've heard, if your purpose don't involve other people, you need to go look for another purpose. That's what I've heard. So, and I believe that. I truly do believe that just because I'm an example of that. But yeah, Mikki gave us a lot of good things on how we can manage our stress. So, as she said, journaling is one.
Breathing.
Breathing is the second one, taking a moment to what?
Pause, breathe, choose.
Pause, breathe, choose.
Yep.
And then
you can write your list so you have like some go-to things so that when you find that you're stressed, you can actually just go to one of the things on your list, right? So like reading a book, taking a bath, taking a nap, any of those things.
But most importantly, my tip, we gonna always go to God. God first.
Yes.
Making sure you pray. Look, making sure you pray. This her tip too, y'all.
Definitely.
But yeah, all of these things are so important just so we can manage our stress. As she said, life will happen. Life will be lifing. We will be stressed. But you can absolutely manage it. So I hope these tips work for y'all. I hope y'all try them out. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to have Mikki Bey give us the details on how you can reach her if you want to talk to her, if you need some emotional regulation help. She could definitely assist you with that. So how can they reach you?
Yes, you can reach me at Get Mikki Bey on all platforms. I'm most active on Instagram, so at Get Mikki Bey. That's MIKKIBEY. and on my website, which is also getmikkibey.com.
Y'all, when I tell y'all, she is phenomenal with stress management and just all of that. Like, she has really, really helped me. So I have to give her her flowers while I have her sitting here next to me.
Thank
you know,
you.
she's amazing. But thank you so much for tuning in, watching. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel. Also follow Go Sleek Hair Company and follow Strands and Story. And we will see you next time on the next episode.